called Leadership Shift. Of course, Tasha, I have my copy here,
Nice.
and so this is a time of transition. So we want to let you know, as a chamber, that we support those of you who are certainly on the call today, and our general community. And for the COVID-19 crisis, there is a website, a link that you can go to, and that's Montgomery Chamber /COVID-19 for some additional resources and information. I believe for this period, we're doing the newsletter bi-weekly, and just saw it in the file today. So I encourage you to continue to look for those updates. Just like to go ahead and transition on into our session with our presenter today. Very excited. Tasha Scott is dedicated to helping organizations maximize their potential. He's an independent executive director with the John Maxwell team and certified DISC consultant, the founder of Maximize Growth LLC and the 5-year-old Connected Women Win group, which is a great organization. And she is a 3-time author, professional speaker, leadership trainer, executive coach, workshop facilitator. But she will say that her greatest accomplishments are being married to her husband, Morris Scott, for 22 years, and being the mother to her teenage daughter. Of course, she knows that I know her husband, Morris. He's my friend. So great family, doing great work. And so we're just excited to have you on today, Tasha.
Thank you so much, Cedric. I'm excited anytime I get to partner with the Chamber of Commerce and really do good things for our community. So thank you. I want to welcome everyone back, or welcome for the first time. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is session 3 for the Stay Strong, Lead Well. Today, we're going to be focusing on the collaboration shift, and we have one more week of class next Tuesday and next Thursday. And I'm so excited for the feedback that I've been receiving. And just to let everyone know that if you registered, if you're on, you will get the replay. I try to post it in the afternoon of each session. And the Chamber of Commerce actually has the replay on their website as well. So got you covered. But I always like to start with some funny memes. During this COVID-19, the internet has not failed us with providing some humor. So to lighten the mood, I wanted to share some of the most popular memes that I've come across. So the theme today is all around food, okay? So this one was, I don't know, most of y'all that are working at home now, if you're like me and you've just been making frequent trips to the refrigerator, this one's was funny because the sign says, "You were just here, you are not hungry, girl, bye." And then it put the bikini on the refrigerator, just motivation to stay the course. And how many of y'all remember one of our favorite characters from childhood, Winnie the Pooh? Leave it to Winnie the Pooh to add to the laughter of all of this as well. And finally, for all my tech-savvy people in here, Alexa, this one says, "Alexa, delete my belly." Again, just to share some memes to lighten the mood during this time. So we're talking about Stay Strong, Lead Well. This was the acronym that I came up with because, like I mentioned in the first 2, in order for us to stay strong, we have to first get strong. And in order to get strong, we have to acknowledge where we are. So this acronym that I came up with really breaks down what that looks like. So that's all about being steadfast, teachable, ready, optimistic, having a never give up mindset, and being generous. And just to review, if this is your first time tuning in, the first session, I gave an exercise called a SWOT analysis. This is an exercise that a lot of businesses do when they're trying to locate themselves to prepare for growth. And I talked about how we need to SWOT ourselves in order to prepare for where we're going to be on the other side of COVID-19. Last session, I did one of the exercises that I took everyone through was how to manage expectations, not just our expectations, but other people's expectations, especially our team members. And we could include our family members in this as well. How many of you all that are on here actually took the expectation conversation and maybe you started it or maybe you intend to use it? let me know in the chat. And I forgot to mention that I love engagement and interaction. So I'll be monitoring the chat as we're talking today, because I really feel like this is a conversation. So would love to know, did anybody who was on last session actually take the expectations conversation and use it, or do you plan to use it? And while I'm waiting on feedback from that, one of the questions that I received from last session was, Tasha, what if someone on your team openly admits that they do not want you to be honest with them? Because one of the questions that I talked about, or one of the statements I made, was that when it comes to expectations, it's always good to start from a place of honesty. And so what I shared with this individual was, sometimes people don't want us to be honest with them because maybe there is an offense there. Maybe there's something that happened. Maybe it was on this job or on this team. Maybe it was an unresolved issue that they brought with them. So a lot of times what we have to do as leaders is we've got to put on our coach hat, our mentor hat, and we can't force people into anything. But what we can do is get to the root and find out why they don't want to be honest. And in some cases, what my organizational clients have done is they bring in neutral parties. Like I would be a neutral party that would come in because maybe the tensions are high. Maybe there's little trust within the team or the organization for whatever reason. And so I always tell people, you can't force people into wanting to be honest, but what you can do is locate them and hopefully coach and mentor them to a place where they feel safe enough to be engaged and all in for the team. So I just wanted to answer that question just in case somebody else was thinking it. And at the end of the day, this is a journey that we're on, and this is an inside out job. So as I'm talking today about stay strong, lead well, this is helping us to know how to be there for our team members, but we also have to start with ourselves. All right, so the focus for today is, we're talking about stay strong, lead well, but I want to shift us to mindset. We talked session 1 all about the clarity shift. We talked the last session about communication and connection. Today, I want to shift our focus to really tap into our mindsets and really activate the abundance mindset. I want us to find the treasure that's already there, because again, on the other side of this, we want to come out stronger. But taking inventory of ourselves is one thing. It's another thing to take inventory of our teams, of our businesses, to go looking for the treasure, and so that we can move forward strategically and be strong and lead well on the other side of this. As Cedric mentioned, this book was inspired by my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell. I love utilizing his materials when I'm doing my speaking, coaching, and training. He's not the only resource, but just wanted you to know that the inspiration behind this masterclass series was definitely this book called Leadership. So today we're talking about collaboration, but I really want to put more emphasis on the word abundance, because if we're going to really have strong collaborations, we've got to have the abundance mindset so that we can find the hidden treasures in collaborations. And I'm not going to be talking about collaborations in the way that you think I am. So I want you to lean in, take notes, and definitely ask questions, okay? So what's the definition of collaboration? It's the action of working with someone to produce or create something. How many of y'all know that when it comes to our jobs, our businesses, our roles, our assignments, that it's bigger than us? I remember reading in this chapter that Dr. John Maxwell had an assistant, and he was bringing in outside help, and his assistant came to him and said, "Am I not enough for you?" And he said, "Actually, no, but here's the thing, I'm not enough either." And that's the thing that we have to understand, is that we were wired for connection. We talked about that last time, but how do we really tap into that, and how do we really collaborate with people? That takes an abundance mindset in order to do that. And before we can even dig deeper, we first got to get out of maintenance mode. Prior to COVID-19, many of us probably found ourselves in maintenance mode. We were doing business, we were showing up how we needed to show up. We were taking care of stuff, but then here comes COVID-19 and it exposed some things for us. It exposed our strengths, yes, but it also exposed some cracks in our foundations with our teams, with our businesses, with our personal lives, that now we have an opportunity. Last time I talked about the power of the pause, we have an opportunity to now move from that maintenance mode of what we were doing, because we're not going back to business as usual. We now want to move forward and think like a builder. And Vince Lombardi says the joy is in the creating, not in the maintaining. So we don't have to embrace this uncertainty. We don't have to embrace the other side of this with fear. We actually can be preparing now in building mode for where we're going. And in order to do that, we've got to embrace innovation. Innovation is doing something new or doing something old in a new way. What does innovation impact? It impacts how we live. It impacts how we lead. It impacts what we achieve. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record today, but in order to even embrace innovation, we have to have an abundance mindset. And the only way that we can tap into that abundance mindset is leverage the power of our collaborations. So we have to recognize what zone we're in so that we can know how to move and position ourselves, because we all, again, going back to that maintenance mode, we all have really been revealed in this time. So we've got to identify where we are so we can know where we're going. So as I read these, I want you to locate yourself for me. So are you in the coasting zone? And maybe this is where you were, where you pretty much have just been doing as little as possible. You've been relying on your natural talent. You've been relying on your natural ability. You've been relying on your position or your title. And so for you, it's just your business as usual has just been, I'm just coasting along. I'm just doing enough. Maybe you haven't said it, or maybe you have, but at any rate, is this where you are? The comfort zone. I do what I have always done. I know some people say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So maybe for you, you've been in the comfort zone. Or maybe the challenge zone. I attempt to do what I haven't done before. Maybe you've ventured out of your comfort zone and you've started doing some things that you haven't done. How many of y'all for the first time have been embracing Zoom? This has been a challenge for you. Or maybe even the whole virtual meetings, working at home, that's been a challenge. So that's one zone. But another zone is the creative zone. I attempt to think what I have never thought before. I'm here to tell you that all of us want to, wherever we are, we want to grow into the creative zone, because the creative zone is where we can really tap into that innovative mindset. The creative zone is where we can really grow and maximize our potential. And if we're going to stay strong and lead well, we want to lead from a place of creativity so that we can lead others in a healthy way as well. There are hidden treasures that are right in front of you. Tapping into the abundance shift, tapping into the collaboration. I want you to know that the hidden treasures that are in front of you, they've always been there. These hidden treasures can come in the form of opportunities, but these hidden treasures could also come in the form of people. I want you to think about who's on your team. I want you to think about your clients right now. Maybe you're an independent contractor and you're saying, I don't have a team, Tasha. Well, you still have people that you influence. I'm here to tell you that your hidden treasure, if you want to grow in this abundance shift, if you want to really strengthen your collaborations, you've got to understand that it's going to go through people. We need people and people need us. It is all about the relationships. That's the key. That's the hidden treasure that we need to tap into today so that we can stay strong and lead well. But I know that somebody I'm sure is on the other side of this saying, but Tasha, you don't know the people that I have to deal with. You don't know my boss. You don't know my team. You don't know the situations. And you're right, I don't. But I know at the end of the day, we can't change anybody else, but we can change ourselves, right? And so we all may come into our workplaces, into our businesses, into our teams with unconscious biases. And I'm here to tell you that COVID-19 has given us the gift of pause. And so this is the time that we can do that inside out work, and we can unlock the mental blocks that are keeping us from growing, from keeping our teams from flourishing, from keeping our businesses from really being all that it could be. And we've got to unlock the mental blocks so that we can, again, this is an inside out job, so that we can be prosperous, productive, and be the community that we're supposed to be. And what happens when you unlock mental blocks? You become a person who's not limited in your mind. You become a person that's unstoppable on your jobs, in your careers. So, but we got to address these mental blocks. So these right here that you see on the left, these are some typical mental blocks. And if any one of these stand out for you, will you do me a favor? Be bold, post in the comments. Thank you, Robin, for saying I was struggling with mental blocks today. Because again, this is a conversation. I always say we can't heal what we don't reveal. We can't grow when we choose to not know. So here's a couple of mental blocks that I want to guide us through. Maybe your mental block is, I don't know how to find the right answer. Or maybe your mental block is, well, that's not logical. Maybe you're thinking or thought in the past that maybe you've tried to grow your team, or improve your productivity, or grow your business, whatever it looks like for you. And you thought, that's not logical for me to try something new or to try that. Or maybe your mental block is follow the rules. I don't want to follow the rules. I want to do my own things. Or maybe you're on the opposite extreme, where you are so confined by the rules that you can't even move because you're paralyzed by fear, afraid that you're going to mess something up. So you stay in that comfort zone because you think it's your safety net. But isn't it just like life to prove us wrong? Isn't it just like life to make like COVID-19 just come out of nowhere, and now we're forced to deal with things that we thought we were comfortable with, but now we've got to shift. Maybe your mental block is, well, it's always been that way. It's always been this way in the hierarchy of my business, my organization, the team. It's always been that way. So why rock the boat? Or maybe your mental block is failure is bad. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to fail. Maybe you have a fear of failure, and you are paralyzed from even trying something new because that failure, maybe you failed in the past and you don't want to repeat what happened in the past. So you're in this paralyzed state. But I'm here to tell you that failure doesn't have to be bad. Failure can actually be a lesson. Failure can actually be a launching pad for you. For me, I shared on the first session how back in 2008, we went through a personal crisis. I know a lot of the banks, a lot of the businesses were closing, and we were affected personally by that. And we made some bad decisions during that time. But because we decided not to quit, we decided to press through. It was hard day. It was hard on some days. There were some mistakes that we made, but on the other side of this, I'm glad that I didn't give up, because now I know I'll never do those things again. And actually I have stronger muscles, and my business is actually in a better place because I'm healthier, because I didn't let failure stop me. So maybe yours is good help is just hard to find. Maybe you've been hearing me say this about teams, and you're like, team? What team? I don't have a team. It's just me, because I'm the only person I can depend on. If that's you, don't tell on yourself. But maybe your mental block is you just think it's impossible to grow my business beyond myself because good help is hard to find. That's a mental block that I want to challenge today. Or maybe you think I'm not creative. I have to stay safe because I don't know technology. I don't know how to maneuver Zoom or all this virtual stuff that people are talking about. I'm not that creative. I'm still old school. I prefer things the way they were. That's a mental block. And today I want to challenge these mental blocks and help you to choose to go to shift from maintaining and being in maintenance mode to becoming a person who is creative and tapping into your creativity. And maybe the creativity is not in you, but that's why we're talking about the abundant shift, because some of y'all are going to have to collaborate with your team members or collaborate with other people so that you get out of the mental blocks and understand that there are no limits to your growth. And let me just go here. I see some people here. Thank you, Lakeisha. Lakeisha says, failure is bad. I'm not creative. Bomb the mental rules. Thank you for your honesty. Debbie says, my mental block is the unknown. Janice says, I like to do my own thing. So yours is probably the rules, maybe not following the rules or following the rules. Monette says, my mental block is failure is bad and it's too much. It's too hard. Thank y'all for your honesty. So that lets me know that I'm talking to the right group of people today. So as we challenge these mental blocks and as we decide to shift from the maintenance mode to the abundance mindset and really embrace the power of collaboration, I want to talk about 7 creative principles that we can learn and live by. The first one is we've got to learn to build a creative culture. Again, I've got to shake that mental block if you're sitting there thinking, I'm the only one that I work for, it's just me. Or maybe you're thinking, my team is never going to go for this. Maybe you're leading a team and you're thinking, my team is just, they're not going to move, or maybe they don't want to work, whatever your mental block is. I want to share with you that it's possible for you, the leader, to get strong, to stay strong so you can lead well and be the force that guides your team by you taking responsibility and building a creative culture. It says here, if you lead a team, department, or organization, take responsibility for promoting creativity and building a creative culture. It starts with you. That's the responsibility of a leader. We lead by example. Our team will never grow or want to push beyond what we want, where we want to grow and push. There's a lid that our businesses have. It's called the leadership lid. You can be the one to break that lid, to shatter the glass ceiling and be a part of the solution, not the problem. You can take your crayons back. I know when we were little in preschool and kindergarten and all that, we used to color, and they were okay with us coloring outside the lines. But then when we got older, we exchanged our crayons for algebra books, for chemistry books, for business books, and then we wanted to play it safe. But give yourself permission to take your crayons back and be the leader that builds the culture, the creative culture. And here's some things that you can do. You can fuel passion in others by becoming passionate yourself. You can celebrate ideas that other people have by being an idea generator yourself. Foster autonomy. Like, don't just do it for everybody. Like, just because you're building a creative culture doesn't mean you have to do everything. Give people autonomy, give them ownership, share with them how they can learn to think for themselves, how to be creative for themselves. You can do that. Encourage change. If people are walking on eggshells around you, maybe they don't know that they can try. Maybe they don't know that they can give you an idea, or maybe you're a solopreneur and maybe you just haven't tapped into the right support person or team to help you. It's okay to fail forward. I know some people put here that failure was a mental block for you. I'm here to tell you that failure can be a gift, just like the power of pause can be a gift. And if you learn to fail forward, you will never stop, because you'll never stop getting lessons so that you can grow. So if anything, hurry up and fail. Get it over with so that you can be stronger on the other side. Start small. So when you decide to take your crayons back to build a creative culture, and here's the thing, whether you're the boss, the leader, an influencer, or the solopreneur, in order for you to move from that, to shift from maintaining to building, start where you are. Start with right where you are. Maybe today it's embracing Zoom. Maybe tomorrow it's doing something where you're reaching outside of your circle, your inner circle, and asking for help. Start where you are with what you have. Micromanagement undermines creativity while freedom and flexibility foster it. This picture is so powerful because when we stop micromanaging people and trying to control the culture instead of being a creative culture, what you're really doing is you're giving people freedom because you're exercising freedom as well. The other thing you can do is make everything better. And again, there's a you in front of that. You can make everything better. Creativity is not the finding of a thing, but making something out of it after it is found. This was a quote by James Russell Lowell. And my 2 cents is that includes people. So that's where the collaboration can come in strong. And that's where your hidden treasure is because when you collaborate with people, what you're doing is you're making them better because you're actually opening up doors for people to exercise their gifts, their talents. They're covering you where you're not as strong. Maybe you're reaching out to somebody on your team who's really good at organizing, or they're really good with all this technology stuff. And now we're embracing this more and more. So now it's about being creative enough to ask for the help and then letting people operate in their gifts. And to me, that's the ultimate of making things better because, again, you're collaborating and not just relying on you to get everything done or to be everything. And we talked last time about expectations, but today I want to talk about not just manage expectations. I want you to practice exceeding expectations. What can you do to exceed expectations with your team or your clients? So last session was all about having the conversation, getting to a place of understanding. But then when you get to a place of understanding with your team, with your clients, with your contractors, whoever that is, now I want you to focus on exceeding the expectations and not waiting for somebody else to make the first move, but you go above and beyond and exceed other people's expectations. That takes an abundance mindset. The other thing you can do is make plans, but look for options. To be creative, leaders need to add options to their planning. Options always present themselves after action is taken on a plan. This was a quote taken from the leadership book by Dr. John C. Maxwell. I want you to ask yourself, where am I holding tightly to my plans, but I have not been open to options? Again, I'm going to go back to COVID-19. COVID-19 has given us this gift of the power of the pause to pause and really see where we are. But even in where we are, we've got to embrace where we're going. And we got to ask ourselves, am I holding on tightly to something, but I haven't been open to the options of everything that my business, my team could be? Or am I just holding on tightly to say, let's get back to normal and let's do what we've always been doing? Maybe that's the plan that you've been holding on to and not really exploring the options of how can not just you be better on the other side of this, but how can your team be better on the other side of this? Robin says, is micromanagement undermines creativity while freedom and flexibility foster it? Okay, thank you, Robin. So we've got to learn when we make the shifts for our abundance mindset and we're leaning into collaboration, there's nothing like having a good plan. So in order to plan ahead, we've got to predetermine our course of action. What is the plan going to be for you to really find the treasure in collaborating with your existing team? What's going to be the plan to adjust your mindset to an abundance mindset for the contractors that you're working with? What's going to be your new plan of action for your clients that you're now having to communicate with in different ways? Predetermine your course of action and then lay out your plans. adjust your priorities. We're in uncertain and changing times right now. Adjust your priorities, but then notify your key personnel. Include your team members in this. Invite their feedback. That's the next one, is allow time for acceptance. And then once you've collaborated with them, you've got your plan together, now you can head into action. We don't have to be the heroes as the leaders. I think the strongest people are the ones that they say, I need help. Can you help me? And embracing what that looks like. And then the other thing is expect problems. Like, get it out of your head that failure is going to be bad or failure is going to be final for you. Expect problems. Expect that there's going to be some things that are going to have to be tweaked. That's the whole mindset of, you know what, I'm building. I'm not sitting here maintaining and trying to force something to be what it is. I'm building. And anytime anybody's building, you can course correct as you go. And that's the next one, adjust your plans. So when you have a problem show up and now you're not just stuck there, now you can adjust, you can course correct. Maybe you had a team member that they were working on something, and now this has really shown you that this team member can really shine in another way. So you adjust. You adjust, and then you daily review your plans. I love accountability. I don't think it's a do it and then just let it be in cruise control mode. No, we need to be daily reviewing and daily adjusting. So this is a little formula here, and you see the acronym plan ahead, so that you can stay in that abundance mindset and leverage the collaboration that is the hidden treasure already in front of you. The next one is place high value on ideas. And I'll say, not just your ideas, but ideas of others around you. If you look at this picture, and I apologize if you're on the phone, and I'll try to describe this, but this picture shows a leader. And the leader is obviously frustrated or maybe overwhelmed. And do you see the people behind the leader? And this is what we look like sometimes as leaders when we don't embrace other people's ideas, right? We have people that could help us. We have people that probably could even do it faster and stronger than us. But sometimes what we do as a leader is we'll sit there and we'll suffer in silence. We'll sit there and we'll be frustrated with ourselves. We'll be frustrated with people. But all we've got to do is just open up our eyes and see that help is already there. We just got to reach out for it. And that's the power of collaboration, y'all. So my question is to you is, wherever you're frustrated right now, wherever you feel like you're stuck or wherever you feel like you're stagnant, where can you creatively look for new ideas? And I'll give you a hint. If you have a team, the answer is probably sitting within your team. But you've got to be open to asking and hearing their ideas. Or maybe you have a support circle. If you're an independent contractor, maybe your solution is wrapped up in others. We're wired for connection, y'all, for a reason. The other is we've got to seek out and listen to different voices. I say it takes a village. It takes a village, and it takes a village of my inner circle, and the people in my inner circle as a leader include my family, my team members, my friends, and you fill in the blank. It takes a village to help me. But here's the thing, it also takes the inner circle, but it also takes the outer circle. As a leader, we need people that we're leading. I mean, we have people that we're leading that look up to us, that we're pouring into. But how many of y'all know that we need an outer circle to help guide us as well? So my outer circle includes my mentors, my coaches, my accountability partners. And you know who else is in my outer circle, which you probably would be surprised? It's my mentees. Sometimes your mentees can be the very ones that can hold you accountable because they're looking up to you. Do you have any of these people missing from your village, from your outer circle? Y'all, if you do, you're missing out on the power of collaboration. I want to challenge you to raise your mindset and think abundantly right now. This is the time right now to think about this. Who is in my inner circle, but who is in my outer circle? Do I need to upgrade? Do I need to switch people out? The people that got me here, are they the ones that are going to get me on the other side of this? Or maybe I need to add. Maybe you're not taking away anybody. Maybe you need to add. I want you to think about this, because as we're talking about the abundant shifts, we're talking about collaboration. And again, you may have thought I meant collaboration when it came to business deals or how to make money. This is an inside out job. Sometimes it's hard to see the big picture when you're in the frame. Sometimes we're biased because we're in the picture, and sometimes we need the outer circle to help us see what we can't see. So another question for you: who could you bring into your circle, whether it's inner circle or outer circle, that could help you see and hear from new perspectives right now? Because where we are is not where we're staying. Where we are is opportunity to prepare for where we're going. And sometimes that's going to take, a lot of times, it's going to take collaborations. And in order for you to really attract the right kind of people, it's going to mean that you're going to have to shift in your mindset and have a mindset of abundance. The other one is you're going to have to take risk. And I know for all of my people on here that said failure was your mental block. And when I say the word risk, everything in you is like, no, risk. I just told you that I don't want to fail. But you got to take risk, because that's what's going to get you out of that comfort zone. And a lot of the risks that you're going to have to take are with your very team that you already have. It's going to be with the inner circle, the outer circle, and taking a risk and inviting other people in. Okay, so I'm going to take a risk right now and ask a question. How many Roll Tide people do we have on this call today? Entertain me in the chat. Or how many War Eagle fans do we have? Entertain me, please, in the chat. I'm taking a risk by asking this. Ashley says War Eagle. Debbie says Roll Tide. Okay, Alicia says War Eagle. Okay. Rolinda, Roll Tide. I hear y'all. I see you. Okay. Love it. Love it. So we have a divided house today. I want to share about a risk. I'm not a football fan. My husband is a diehard Alabama fan. But I want to talk about Coach Nick Saban and a risk that he took back in 2018. Anybody watch the Alabama versus Georgia game? Now, again, I'm not a football fan, but you don't have to be a football fan to have heard about this story. And this was during this game, the score was 13-0. This was the score during halftime. And Coach Nick Saban took a risk. He took an inexperienced quarterback and put him in the game. Y'all remember that, Tua? Took an inexperienced quarterback, put him in the game, and they ended up winning. It was a 26-23 victory. That was the ending score. That was a huge risk, because here's the thing. All he had was his instinct. But if he failed, I promise you, he wouldn't have lived it down. Right? All of my Roll Tide fans and some of y'all War Eagle people, y'all would have been on the bandwagon too. He took a risk that paid off. And I love this story because when I think about this, I think about our teams. I think about people that are our support teams, whether it's your employees, whether it's your contractors, whatever that looks like. And I have to ask this question: are there people that you haven't taken a risk on? Is there like golds right in your in your proximity right now that you really haven't tapped into their strength. You haven't heard their ideas. You haven't really taken the time to exceed expectations to find out how strong are they. This is a time right now, leaders, if we're talking about stay strong, lead well, this is a time to strengthen your team from the inside out. It might be time for you to take people off the bench, people that maybe you've overlooked, and it's time for you to really mine for the strength and the treasure, the gold that's in them, because they might be sitting on your solutions. Hello? They might be sitting on your solutions. Or, thank you, Rolinda, for saying that. Rolinda says, I need to build a team. So maybe this is your time to get outside of you just doing everything yourself for your business, for your organization, for your ministry, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe this is your time to find your tour. Maybe this is your time to really say, you know what? If I'm going to grow on the other side of this, I've got to start building people now or recruiting people now. And it may not be employees that you need to recruit. Maybe it's contractors. Maybe it's time for you to collaborate with other business owners right now, whatever that looks like for you. But I loved this story because, y'all, it was a risk that paid off. And like I said earlier, what got you here, or even what kept you here, is not going to be the thing to get you there on the other side of COVID-19, and it won't be the thing to keep you. We have to understand that every failure is a step to success. Don't be afraid to take the risk. I'm actually doing that right now. I've actually added a team member during this time because at the end of the day, I know where I'm going, I'm going to need this collaboration. So I ask you, what is one courageous step that you could take to move to a higher level of creativity? Is it time for you to take your crayons back or pick your crayons back up and get out of maintenance mode and really be courageous right now and seal those cracks in your foundation and not being afraid to ask for help? You might be thinking that everybody's looking for you for the answer. And right now, we're in an uncertain time where nobody really knows the answer. But maybe it's time for you to take that courageous step, and only you know what that looks like. But I want to share with you and encourage you that you don't have to take the step alone. Collaborate, but you've got to have an abundance mindset in order to embrace what I'm talking about. And in order to live what I'm talking about, you're going to have to live on the other side of yes. You're going to have to say yes to what I'm saying to you today. Maybe you've had all the mental blocks in the world, but what I want to challenge you is to press past them and live on the other side of saying yes to yourself, yes to your business, yes to your dreams, to your organizations, and yes for the sake of your team. Larry Stockstill says that he lives on the other side of yes because that's where he finds abundance and opportunity. It's where he becomes a better and bigger person. Because when opportunity presents itself, y'all, it's going to be too late to prepare. This is the time right now to shift your mindset, to do what it takes to collaborate. And chances are you're not going to have to go looking far. Some of y'all, this treasure is right on your team. You just got to go digging for it. But others of you who are independent contractors, you have probably already met your potential collaborators or your potential contractors, people that are going to work with you, and maybe you are scared to embrace it. Now is the time to prepare, because when we're on the other side of COVID-19, it's going to be too late to prepare then. Opportunity is knocking right now. Will you answer the door, and will you show up ready? I love this where it says, dear optimist, pessimist, and realist. While you guys were arguing about the glass of water, I drank it. Sincerely, the opportunist. Every one of us have the potential in us to be the opportunist today, but you've got to say yes. You've got to challenge your mental blocks. How can you become more resourceful and live on the other side of your yes today? my friends, chances are the answer is going to be in your collaborations. I'm not sitting here saying that you got to become something that you're not. I'm saying that you've got to learn how to collaborate and leverage opportunities from an abundance mindset. And we're going to talk next week about what that looks like with teams and how to build a diverse team. And I'm not talking about just black and white. I'm also talking about personalities or how to strengthen your team from the inside. We're going to talk about that next week. But I'm going to go back to the chat. If this is you, if you're at a place where you're saying, I need to tap into this, will you say yes in the chat? Will you entertain me and say yes right now? Whether it's building your team, whether it's strengthening your team, whether it's building your outer circle. Maybe you need to tap into mentors, coaches. Maybe you need to really leverage the power of having mentees or having accountability partners. I love it. I'm seeing all these yeses. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. So just to recap, Lakeisha says, I'm doing this right now. Yes. Monette says, I know my courageous step. Yes, I'm excited for y'all. I love all these yeses. Okay, so just to recap, and shifting to an abundance mindset, you got to strengthen your collaborations. And here's my recap. One, you got to build a creative culture. Make everything better. And I'm going to put that you in front of that. You make everything better. Make plans, but look for options. Place high values on ideas. You have some great ideas, but I don't want you to ignore the ideas of the people that are surrounding you. And in fact, it would help if you had people that thought differently from you. Like the next one says, seek out and listen to different voices. We need people that are not going to be yes people or to us. People, we say yes, but we don't need people that are just going to say yes only to us. We need people that will challenge our mindsets. I love this new team member that I have. I'm looking forward to it because she is totally different from me and she thinks different from me, and she asks me questions that cause me to think. I love it because if I don't have that, I'm going to stay in that maintenance mode, and I don't want to do that because on the other side of this, y'all, opportunity is waiting, but it's knocking now. Take risk and then learn to live on the other side of yes. But you've got to break up with comfortable, y'all. You have to break up with comfortable. You've got to get out of that comfort zone. You've got to get to the zone of creativity. This was in the Leadership book by Dr. John Maxwell, and it says, comfortable isn't comfortable. Comfortable never gets up before dawn. Comfortable won't get its hands dirty. Comfortable has nothing to prove. Comfortable can't get the job done. Comfortable doesn't have new ideas. Comfortable won't dive in head first. Comfortable is not the American dream. Comfortable has no guts. Comfortable never dares to be great. Comfortable falls apart at the seams. Don't get comfortable. And if you see this picture right here, you can be that yellow light bulb that once you get out of your comfort zone, once you choose to tap into your creative zone, you're the one that's going to be the catalyst to help everybody else around you by staying in the creative zone. That's how you're going to stay strong, y'all, because you're going to tap into that creativity so that you can lead well by showing others how to tap into their abundance and opportunities also. COVID-19 has leveled the playing field for all of us. It has given all of us a clean slate. This picture right here represents all of it, our lives, our businesses, our dreams, our goals. We all have a clean slate right now. We have an opportunity like never before to get strong so we can stay strong so that we can lead well. You have a blank canvas. You have a responsibility. What are you going to do with it? For me, I've decided to go all in. That's one of the reasons why I reached out to the chamber and I said, you know what, even in the midst of all of this, I want to be a part of the solution. So I want to take my business and I want to do something. I want to give value. And so that's why I reached out and said, hey, would you all be open? That was a risk. Would you be open to me doing this masterclass series? And I'm so grateful that they understand the power of collaboration as well, because they said yes. And now here we are. And so there's some risks that you're going to have to take on the other side of this as well. If you need help with any of the things that I've shared today, where you need to have a deeper dive conversation, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you have questions, especially if you're on the phone and you can't access the chat, reach out to me. This is my email and this is my website. But now I want to bring Cedric back in and really ask if anyone has any questions, or if you'll be willing to share your ahas in the chat as well. You there, Cedric?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, excellent session, Tasha. We will give you a hand clap. Maybe we can all give you a virtual hand clap or something like that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
fantastic. So I just took a lot of notes. I'm sure everyone has taken a lot of notes. I made some notes, but maybe some of your guests and people on the stream may want to share with you some of the notes that they took from today. I know you just talked about the abundance shift, and that we have to be prepared for it, and we got to collaborate. Now that's a key thing that stood out with me for today. And one of the other things that you said is that we're wired for connection.
Yes.
That's powerful. Now, Tasha, you mentioned we want to encourage everyone that's on the stream, as you mentioned, to get the book Leadership by Dr.
Yes.
John Maxwell.
Yes.
And so, Tasha, since I just got mine yesterday, I'm on chapter 1, but you said we're talking from chapter 6 today. So we'll get caught up by our next session. Our next session is scheduled for Tuesday, April 21st at 12, correct?
That's correct.
Yes. So we'll look to see everyone there. One of the things that I saw, Tasha wanted to mention, that I thought was a great quote from chapter 1, from Dr. Maxwell, to go along with what you said, is that he said that you cannot be the same, think the same, act the same if you hope to be successful in a world that does not remain the same.
That's good. That's good.
So that's what you're telling us. You're telling us that we have to make the shift.
Yeah, these are changing times that we're in like no other. And if we expect to stay the course and grow and succeed, we have to shift.
That's good. That's good. Okay, looks like you got a question there, Tasha.
Yes, somebody said, could you review the SWOT? Yes, the SWOT, let me get back here. The SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And like I mentioned, most companies, when they get ready to pivot and get ready to move into a new direction, what they do is it's like taking inventory, of where they are, so they can really be ready for where they're going. And I use this as a tool in my coaching to help individuals. A lot of times it's leaders that I'm dealing with, to locate themselves. And so I ask them to, and we literally do this on a piece of paper, the first one is write out all of their strengths. What are you good at? What is it that people compliment you on? What is it that that nobody could convince you, but this is a skill, a talent, an ability, and you're good at it. And then the other part is the weakness, which can be substituted for area of improvement. Where do you need to improve? Any strength can also be a weakness, but we have to acknowledge it. And then the opportunity is, these are our dreams. What are our dreams or opportunities in front of us if people's opinions didn't matter, if money wasn't a limitation, if we knew we couldn't fail? What is it that we would do? And I have them write this out. And some people, this is the first time that they've actually voiced it. But then the threat is, what is stopping me? And I have people ask the question, but I have them answer it. And I tell them, if it's fear, you have to be specific. Fear of what? I saw somebody on here talk about fear of the unknown. If it's me, like I'm stopping me, how? And I always tell people, for all my faith-based people in there, you can't say the devil, because the devil can't stop you, but that's what that exercise, just to answer for you, Pamela, that's what I use to help people locate themselves. Because before you can stay strong, you got to get strong. But before you can get strong, you got to acknowledge where you are and be honest.
That is great. That is great counsel. Great counsel.
Yes. Alicia says our company often uses a SWOT analysis to evaluate our position when starting our strategic planning for the next phases. Yeah, that's good. And a lot of businesses recognize this, but most people don't know that they could use it on themselves.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. Well, we're very excited. I don't know if you got any of our viewers have any other questions for Tasha in this last couple of minutes. Please post those up. If you do, I just want to remind you that this virtual stream, as Tasha mentioned, she did reach out to the chamber to support the community with it, and so we appreciate her for that, for continuing to sow and to serve in her community. And this is brought to the community by the chamber and as a product of the business studio.
Yes.
And so very excited. So I'm looking forward to our next session. I'm going to review my notes, and I'm going to keep reading my book, Tasha. So I'll be up to speed. I'll be up where you are by the time we get to our next session. So we definitely want to encourage everybody to put a pin there for next week's session. And anything else we want to close with today, Tasha?
I just want to say thank you to everyone for chiming in. And like I mentioned, if anyone has, just need help. Sometimes, like when it comes to the SWOT analysis, it's easier said than done, and we can't really do it on ourselves. So if you get stuck, don't hesitate to reach out and ask, especially if you're a leader and you're trying to navigate your team during this time. And the other part is just letting everybody know that the replay will be available. And I would love for people to share, whether it's here, whether it's through social media, on the chamber page, your ahas that you're getting out of this series, whether this is your first time or your third time joining us, because as you share, it's going to bring hope and help to others.
That is great. That is great. Great idea to share this information and how you're being encouraged, what you're learning, so that Tasha can be encouraged that she knows that what she's teaching is making a difference. She knows that I call her the coach, so we're excited for having the coach on with us today. Going to look for coming back next week for the next master class. Chamber's been trying to make sure that it provides great information during this COVID crisis. So continue to look for the website, montgomerychamber.com. You can also /COVID-19. I believe there's a virtual town hall meeting on Friday with Senator Doug Jones. So there's a lot of information on the chamber site that's also designed to be helpful to us during this time. And so if there's not anything else, Tasha, we'll let people go so they can continue to stay strong and lead well.
Thank you so much, Cedric, and thank you for the chamber for the collaboration.
Okay, thanks to everyone for joining. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.